We can start, I think.
Okay, press the record button and the recording starts at 9:15. Okay, so for our today International E-Democracy talk, Frauke will present probble, so the concept and ideas behind this currently only in German available internet portal for solving problems and discussing problems. I think not discussing but solving. But this is what Frauke can explain to us best. And I would say, Olli, you asked if we should follow our agenda or if we just should start with the presentation, and I don't know what the decision was for this question.
She already answered it. She preferred that we are doing an agenda which is a bit more casual, with she telling us about the system, and then section per section we can give in some questions. So the questions won't be at the end.
Okay, so anyway, I posted the pad with the agenda currently in Mumble, and so then I would say, Frauke, it's your turn, and let's start.
Okay, thank you. Probble, you can find it on www.probble.de, and I would suggest that you look at the platform while I'm speaking, and so that I can explain the basic functionalities of the platform. So the basic intention of me to develop the platform was the question, how can we solve problems together based on the internet? And I started with the question, how do we solve problems in general? And basically, what is a problem? So in my view, a problem is a situation with which you are unsatisfied with. So you don't like a situation and you want to change it. So you have a current state which you don't like, and on this platform you start with describing the current situation or the problem. So at first you realize, okay, I don't like this or that situation, and it can be any situation. It can be I don't know, a social problem in your country, or a problem in your city, or a global problem which affects more than one person. You know, it's not personal problems, but social or problems of the society. So at first you start with the description of the situation when you add a problem to the platform. And if you look at the platform, you can see two sides, the left side and the right side. And the left side represents the current state, and the right side represents the situation, the vision of the situation, how it should be. So after the change.
Okay, may I ask a question here? Currently I'm looking at the platform at the start page and seeing on the left-hand side, so I translated it while with Translate Google, and this is best valued probble is on the left side, and what is probble is on the right side. Did you mean that?
Oh no, sorry. No, okay. Now first, on the platform you can search for problems. So on the start side, it's just a description of what probble is, a description of the basic idea of probble, and then you have three buttons: the local search and a global search and the start page. So in the middle you have the local search, and if you click on this button,
okay,
you have the results, or you have a list of problems which were already added to the platform. And if you click of one of the problems,
which should we use as an example?
pardon?
Which one should we use as an example to click on?
Ja, let's take the Verschönerung der Münchner Straße in Bremen.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you reach the page which I meant. So you
okay, I see.
So on the top in the blue box, it's the title of the problem. And then you have two sides, the left side and the right side. And on the left side you can see the Problembeschreibung, which means the description of the problem. And on the right side you can see the ideas for the solving of the problem, or it can also be a description of the future situation, how it should be in the future after changing the current situation. So at first you start with the description of the current situation, and there you have 4 buttons. There is one button with a house, which is a description of the current state, and then you have a button with 3 houses, which is the structure of the problem. I will explain it later. And then you have the history button, like in Wikipedia. And you have a button, a YouTube button, where you can add YouTube videos concerning the current state. You can add YouTube videos. If there is a video describing the current situation, for example, you can add it to the platform as well. Yeah. And if you have very complex problems, you know, normally the way of solving a very complex problem is that you split it or fork it into different smaller problems, which are aspects of the problem. So you can have child problems and parent problems, a kind of hierarchy of a problem, a structure of a problem. So it's possible on this platform to split one problem into different smaller problems which belong to it. Yeah, this is on the left side. This is the left side of the problem. And then I thought, if you have a lot of problems on this platform, you have to have a function to filter it out.
Okay.
Okay.
May I ask a question? How would I split the current problem into smaller ones? What should I need to do then?
At first, to add a problem or to edit a problem or to split a problem, you have to be registered at first. So you have to create an account, which you can do on the top. You see it there. You have to register and then you have to log in. And if you are logged in, additional functionalities will occur.
Okay.
Ist das richtig? Occur?
Occur, yes.
Occur. Yeah. So, yeah, you have to create an account and then you will see it.
Okay, so it's imagine I have registered and logged in. Then I have additional buttons which enables me to split a problem which I formally created into 2 or 3 separated problems. So it's just possible for the author of the original problem, or it's possible for all registered users to split a problem.
Yeah, it's everyone can do it, and everyone can also edit the problem, which means someone begins with a description of the current situation, and like in Wikipedia, everyone can edit it, and so therefore the history function is there, so you can see the history of the description. For example, if someone adds a problem and you have some more facts which you want to add, or you can also add images and documents to the problem description, and so yeah, it can be edited by a lot of people. This is the basic idea.
I also would like to ask a question. Is there any limitation of the type of questions which can be handled? I'd like to give an example. Wilfredo, this is the first tool which we discussed in our series, had the limitation that what questions can be handled. It had to be a question which you can say yes or no. And is this kind of limitation also in your tool?
Not yet, no. But I think maybe there should be a kind of moderator function in it. I don't know. So that you that a moderator can do it. But at the moment, yeah, you can add any kind of problem. But every problem has also some properties, and you have to categorize the problem, for example, and to localize it too. So I have 2 basic properties which belong to the problem, which is a location and a category. Yeah. Any question?
I just tried to register and also retrieve the email and yeah, clicked on the link, but currently not able to log on. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so what's the reason for having this? So you need to to specify a region. And when I look at the local search results, it seems to be Bundesländer, so states, German states, which the region is. Is it based on states, or what regions can I choose?
You can choose the country. There are any countries in the world in it, and the states and also the counties, the Landkreise of Germany are in it. So if you have another country, you have to add the states too, but then it's possible. Yeah, you by state and by county too.
Okay, but it's not possible to filter. Oh no, the first. Sorry, I overlooked it. So it's also possible to filter for the region.
Yeah, you can filter by region and you can filter by category. Category is like economy, finances, social services, or things like that.
And categories are extendable or are fixed in the system?
Yeah, at the moment they are fixed. I can add some categories, but I think a moderator shall be able to add categories. Yeah. Shall I go on with the right side?
Yes, please.
Yeah, on the right side you can, or everyone can add ideas to the problem, which shall be the ideas of how to solve the problem. And then there are different functionalities. For example, a pro and con functionality, so that people can add arguments or statements to the idea, pros and cons. And then you can also support an idea, and you can support a problem too. So for example, if you think that the solving of a problem is very important, you can support this problem, and it will have an effect on the listing in the search functionality. And yeah, it will show how many people find this problem very important, or the solving of the problem. So you can support a problem and you can support an idea. And to the idea you can also add some pro and contra statements. So you can also add a YouTube video to the ideas too, and then you have another functionality, which is a kind of calendar function, where you can add some events. For example, if there is a discussion regarding the problem or regarding the idea, you can add a date or a demonstration, or I don't know. Yeah. And if you scroll down, you can see ähnliche Fragestellungen. This means similar questions or similar problems. There you can connect similar problems with each other. For example, if you have a problem in your town, for example, I don't know, you don't like a street and you want to make the street more nice, and there are many ideas how to do it, and you have maybe another street which is very ugly and you want to make it more nice in another town, you will have a similar it's a similar question, it's a similar problem. So you can connect the two problems with each other. Yeah,
Who's
and
you?
pardon?
Who's you? Who can connect different
Everyone.
problems?
Everyone can do it. There is a function then, if you are logged in, there is a function which like connect, and then you click on it and then you can look for another problem and you can connect them.
One question. Could it be that by default everyone can do everything?
Yes.
That will answer more questions in the future. So this is cleared now.
Yeah, you cannot add categories and some other things, but normally, yeah.
So there is no ownership of problems.
No, there is no ownership of problems, but you can see in the history who adds the problem first. And there is an ownership of ideas. Or you can, yeah. If you add an idea, it's your idea. But I thought that maybe it would be good that the user can say if he wants other people to add the idea or not. And
why is there ownership for ideas?
Because I thought that yeah, I don't know, it was a question of you know, you can support an idea. I told you that it's possible to support an idea, and there are two different types of voting. You can choose a deadline. So if you add a problem to the platform, you can choose a deadline. For example, at the 1st of January, all the ideas have to be added. If you choose a deadline, it is not possible to support an idea before this deadline. So it's a kind of collection of ideas up to a special date, and afterwards there is a kind of voting between the ideas, or you can
What kind of voting?
Yeah, you can support one or more ideas. On this platform you can support one idea, or you can support 2 or 3 or 4 ideas. You can support every idea.
Okay, so
like.
one vote per idea.
Yeah.
So essentially approval voting.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
but you also said that I could support problems.
No, let me. This was the first possibility to have. So you have a deadline, but then you can have you can always vote. You know, it's
okay. Permanent voting.
Permanent voting. That's it. Yeah, you can also have a permanent voting. And in this case, it is not if you add an idea, it is not possible for anyone to change it. It makes sense, because if someone supports an idea and then the owner of the idea or someone else would change the idea into the contrary, for example, you know, it wouldn't be good.
Yeah. For example, there was a discussion on meta-government where there where they discussed this kind of problem and they came up with a slightly different idea. I don't know if it's better or not. It's just an alternative point of view or something, where you could also delegate your voice to an idea, or you could vote for that idea. Then that would be delegating to another person, the owner of that idea, but only within the context of this idea. And if and the owner of the idea then could support another idea that would transition your vote to the idea he voted for. So you the thing is, he could also change his idea, or if he voted for another idea, then you would also vote for this new idea, and that's somehow like a change of an idea, because you now support another idea text. And then there was the concept of something they called rusted voting, or vote rusting, where the more huge such a change would be, the more fast or the faster your vote would, or you have to refresh your vote every now and then, and the more the idea changes, the faster the rusting takes place. I don't know if that's a good idea, but because you said there might be no alternatives, or it would make sense, so that's somehow a different approach.
So I think it's a very good idea to inform the voters over the fact that the idea they vote for changes, but I think it's a very tough problem to get how big was the change, because
Yeah.
sometimes you can just add a word and
And reverse the meaning, yeah, I know.
Absolutely. So, and sometimes you can write tons of text without even changing anything of the
Yeah,
original
sure.
meaning.
I mean, there was another idea that they called somehow something like subscription, or auto subscribe if you vote for something. If you vote for something and delegate your voice, then you have to, or you always will be informed of any changes. So that's yeah. And so then you will always see whether there is a change or not. And the other thing, sure, one vote could reverse the meaning of the idea. But I think people, if you write a lot of text and you change it and the change is huge, then people are more likely to not support your idea, because it's a lot of work to read through all the text. So in order to accumulate a lot of votes, probably they try to change only what they need to change and not too much. Because change, if you, for example, would make it dependent on the amount of text that changes, I mean the vote rusting, then it's also a motivation to only change very small amounts of text. And these two, if you combine these two, I mean, the motivation to only change very small parts of the text, of the idea, and if you then combine that with the auto subscribe, then it might be a good idea to do it, or at least a possible idea. Because with every subscribe, there would be only a small difference.
Okay, but as far as I understand probble yet, it's even not possible to change anything at all if someone votes for it. So, Frauke, why did you decide that it's, or if there's a need to change something when someone voted, how is it possible to change it anyway, or isn't it possible at all?
No, if it's a permanent voting, you have to add it as a new idea. So this is, I mean, if you want to change something, then you have to add it as a new idea. Yeah,
Okay,
it's like this at
Could
the
you
moment.
comment on ideas? I mean, could you do comments on ideas?
Yeah, you can. I mean, there is a function with pro and cons, so it's a kind of comment, I think.
Okay. But not a comment like a small text, like I don't like this the way you formulated the idea, or I don't know, something. You could say, yeah, I'm fine with that, or no, I don't like it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and I think this is absolutely the point where Wolfgang jumps in with his Q content, isn't
It's
it?
true. Yeah, and I think it's a very good idea to combine these two approaches, so that you don't. And if you have just the basic statements, you know, Kernaussagen in the Q consents, like in the Q consents, you don't have a big text. You just have a small text with very precise statements, and I think this is a good thing. The basic approach which I had on this platform was also, it's not good to talk a lot, you know, like in a forum or in a mailing list. We have a mailing list, we can have a forum, but on this platform you just add the results of all these discussions. So it's not a discussion platform. It's to structurize this process in a very komprimiert, compressed way, you know. So I didn't want I didn't want to have discussions in this platform. This is why I added only pro and con statements. So you have to reduce it to the basics, and this is the main approach to come to the best solutions, I think. And you can discuss it on mailing list or something. I mean, it's possible to have a link, for example, to mailing lists or to other platforms where you can discuss about it. And I just wanted to make it very, precisely, or yeah.
Okay. I think, in my opinion, the discussion of a problem is a very important step in the progress to solving a problem. So for me, that's not easy to split, and if it's split in the way, as I understand it, is on probble currently, so there is a gap between what I see on the left-hand side with a Problembeschreibung, and then on the right-hand side with the ideas. So I can't see what's in between, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. And there are also, I think that there are also some functions missing in it. It's just, you know, it's not ready, the platform. I think you also need other functions like concept, you know. For example, you have the starting point, it's the current situation, and then maybe you have the goal, which is the idea or the vision, and the way how to get from the current state to the vision state. You know, there is a way between it, and normally you have to make some concepts how to get there, and this is also missing. I mean, yeah. It's not ready yet. Normally,
Okay,
I
so
thought maybe it would be good to have a calculator in it, you know, to show the costs. You know, for example, if you want to make a street more nice and you have the idea to to plant some trees there and to do this and that, you need money for it, or you need trees, you need people who plant the trees and so on. So it will maybe cause some costs. So it would be also good to add these things to the platform to show the way how to get from the current state to the vision. There are some functions missing, and the discussion, yeah, maybe you can add a forum into the platform, but there are still some open source software tools for that, you know.
okay, but do you think about or thought about to integrate those open source forum software into probble, or do you think it's should be separated from probble at least?
Yeah, it was too much work to add it, so I thought in the beginning to test it if it's functioning, or you can separate it, and maybe one day you can merge it together, but it's a lot of work. So yeah.
Okay, so regarding your idea with the calculator, so probble is meant to be for real life problems, not so meta discussions or meta problems, which what sense of life or how should we save the world, or so it's more about how could we make our city look nicer.
Yeah, I was inspired from the Stuttgart 21 case a little bit, and I mean, how to save the world, it's you can never solve this problem in you have to split it into different smaller problems, and maybe you can come to problems which you can add on this platform. It's not for philosophical things or mathematical problems. I think maybe it's possible too. I think the structure of it's a basic structure of problem solving, with some functions missing. But normally, always, if you solve a problem, even if you solve a philosophical problem, it's the same or a similar structure, I think.
The question is, what happens if someone appears on this platform and then comes up with a philosophical question like, what is the sense of life?
Yeah, at the moment there is no category like this. So you have to add a category like philosophy, and then why not? But then maybe you cannot localize it. But there is also at the locations you can also choose that the problem is not that you are not able to localize it, because, for example, a mathematical problem, it's not possible to localize it in any way. But why not? I mean, if you can filter the problems, it's not a problem. I think. I don't know.
Okay, what I really like is the page with the pro and contra, where it's confronted on one page. So on the left hand side is the pro, and on the right hand side is the contra argument. So are the pro and con related to each other? So can I have a pro argument that refers to a contra argument and vice versa, or is it just a pro and a con to the idea?
At the moment, it's just a pro and a con to an idea.
Okay. Okay, is there more to explain about probble, or can I ask another question?
Yeah, I think I finished.
Okay, so my question is, what about a testing phase? So currently, it seems there's not much traffic on the platform. Is it right?
Yeah, it's right. It's because I didn't find people who who are willing to test it. There is a small group in Achim, it's near Bremen. They asked me if they can test it because they wanted to have a Bürgerbeteiligungsplatform there. And yeah, but it goes very slowly and there is not a lot of traffic at the moment. And there are, like you see, there are also some bugs in it, and I wanted to make the coding new. But I would be very happy if it would be tested, just to see if the functionality is practicable or not, and yeah, if there have to be more functions and so on.
Okay, what do you think about so is there currently a description or a documentation of probble, how it works internally, and even the concept of probble? Is it somehow described?
Or maybe 1 year ago, I did some videos, like tutorial videos, but I don't know where they are. I can do it again, it's no problem. And actually, there is just the starting page where I try to describe the basic ideas, but if it's necessary or if it's good, I can describe the different functionalities too. I can do it, no problem.
Okay, so because what I'm currently thinking of is if you anyway plan to rewrite probble in the one or the other way before you can make it open source, because you need to fix some bugs and to insert or enhance some functionality, and even to bring it to an even up-to-date programming style or whatever is needed to make it open source. I wonder if you can also think about to make it a plug-in implementation for the framework we are thinking of. And so currently we are planning to have Wolfgang's Q-Consens as the first prototype for our framework implementation. And it would be good to have a second plugin, which could be probble, for example, and also to test out how we then can let interact the individual plugins like qconsens and probble, that qconsens can also enhance probble, for example. So what do you think about that?
Yes, sure. So I didn't start, or I started thinking about how to merge the two ideas of and I'm in contact with Wolfgang, who made the qconsens, or who developed the idea of the qconsens, and we are thinking about how to merge these two concepts. Yeah, and but what I didn't get right now is how this framework should be, and how the plugin should be installed. This is I was thinking about it, but I didn't get it, or I don't have a clear imagination of how it could be. This is my problem. I thought that, and I was thinking about a database structure also, that it would be, or that this framework could be a kind of database connection framework, something like this. Yeah, but I have to think about it, and I don't know how far or what is the state of the framework, or I didn't get it.
Okay, there are several possibilities how to achieve such kind of framework, and there are also different ideas around how to do it. And one idea is to have a centralized system or centralized database schema, which is used by several tools. Another idea is to have a complete decentralized approach with different websites which are connected with some web technologies like RDFA, some web ontologies to interchange data, for example. So this has to be discussed and is not fixed yet. So I think at the end it's necessary to have open web standard like some web ontologies to some RDFA tags and schemas to interchange data between the different tools, and yeah, how it should work in detail, that has to be discussed, and it's not fixed yet.
It's a very advanced question, and I guess that in the end we will end up in both ways. So I could imagine that we are having a web standard-like solution, which at the same time incorporates a platform where you really easily can switch between the different plugins, and that all on one page, just like in Twitter, when you change your backgrounds, practically in this way. And but as I already mentioned, this doesn't necessarily need to exclude an approach where you have access to data even if you are not in the system. So to make it short, I guess both will be the solution.
Yeah, and for me, it's also possible to have the framework not as a kind of library or some sort of executables or stuff like this, but as standardization, for example, so to standardize some processes and also data schemes, to have a common sense of how problems should be processed by a tool, and also how the data should be stored. So at the end, I think it boils all down to have a common understanding of what are the basics of this problem solving, or even decision-making process.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it sounds very interesting. I never worked together in a team. And I always wished to do that. Yeah, I mean, I am open for this, but I can only code in PHP. This is a problem. Maybe
That's no problem. It's not very different from C#, for example. So once we asked in our working group what's the most famous programming language currently by the members of our working group. So, and I think there are a lot of .NET developers around. And maybe we can do a prototype in PHP, or we can do one in C#, or we can do one in Perl or whatever. So I think if you want...
What about JavaScript?
or even JavaScript or whatever. So I think if you once get the idea of how a programming language works, so it won't took long to get into another one.
okay. Yeah, regarding JavaScript, I was always looking for someone who likes to do some things in JavaScript, also for probble, for the for the forms and for the validation of forms and so on. But I never found someone who liked to work with me together.
Who was the guy who asked for JavaScript?
Me?
Alex.
So, or do you have something like a GitHub account, or is what about the source code? Is it only on your hard drive?
Yeah, no, I told it already that the code is very bad. It has to be changed. I have to write it again.
I mean, I think the best way to go in the future is to use something like JavaScript or HTML, because the front end will always be the browser, or probably the browser, or maybe mobile apps. But even then, if you want to make it somehow cross-platform, there's I mean, do you know PhoneGap, for example, or there's some other kind of frameworks that let you write applications in JavaScript or in HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, and the like. And you could use it on Android, and you could also use it on iOS, or even the new Windows mobile version. So, and you could do really advanced stuff on the front end side. Like, I don't know, probably you saw Google Docs, and you have a kind of Word or Excel inside of the browser. You could highlight text, or I don't know. Then you could comment it, and you could create ad hoc threads of posts and comments and all the like. And I wonder if that's possible to do it in a cross-platform kind of way, with non-standard standard interface elements. I don't know. I mean, I think JavaScript is pretty flexible, and there's also a lot of designers that know HTML5, and it's pretty hard for them, I would say, to make something nice for something that's not HTML5. Or maybe for Flash, okay, but yeah. So I think JavaScript would has some significant advantages.
Okay, there are a few libraries around for JavaScript, which I think is also very easy to program UIs with it. And I would go one step further and would then break the development into two parts. One for the front end and one for the back end part. So I would like to do the back end part. So if you want to do it on the front end, we have a team.
Yeah, sure. I'm just not sure what would be the next step to do. But yeah, that's what I'm into. AG Meinungsfindungstool and the like. I'll find a way to improve the world of casting and voting and.
Yeah, so the next step needs to be, we have started with this already on our Monday talks, to define our vocabulary, and then it is up to us to set up our domain model with our domain entities, which we think belong to most common discussions and problem solving and decision making systems, and then we need just to start with the implementation of the prototype. So, but I don't want to kill Hauke's presentation. So, but you said you're done anyway.
Yeah, I'm finished. I think we can stop the recording and then we can talk about the development maybe.
Okay, so Flash, so some